Yo, it's Captain, bringing you a Star Rail Captain's Log 2.2 dash 4? 4. dash 4. Good intro. The dash 4. It's fourth time we've done 2.2, and we are still we're about like a quarter of the way into the story, according to the long play that I'm using to I always do these and I'm never centered. How do we? There. Perfect. According to the long play that I'm watching, we're about a quarter in. And I think we actually made really good progress today. We made like an hour and 15 minutes into the 8 hour and 45-minute long play. So we're still never going to get done, but we did make some good progress today. We saw two major scenes. We didn't really finish the second one, but I mean, I don't mean just like little short scenes. I mean like big scenes. Like they started and they ended, and then it switches to another perspective. We saw Robin's perspective, which was Sunday and Robin, right after we get done with the whole. We saw Sunday and Robin on the boardwalk. let me just overview first, and we saw the train gang taking on Penaconian Idol. Those are the two main scenes, and they're both pretty good. One of them was really dramatic, and then one of them was just really fun. We did not finish the Penaconian Idol. There's apparently 3 challenges in it. We got through 2, and I ran out of time. It was actually kind of funny because part of the story for that section is like, we're running out of time, we gotta hurry. And it was getting late in the stream, and I was like, I'm running out of time, I gotta hurry. So I tried to see the whole thing because I thought it'd be nice to like finish it, because I think there's gonna be a pretty nice cutscene, like a really cool reward for getting it done. But we didn't get. We'll have to see it tomorrow. Is the plan. So where were we? Where did we start? Last thing we saw with Sunday and Robin is it was everybody with Gallagher, right? And in Dreamflux Reef, and he revealed he dropped all the lore bombs, revealed all the secrets, told us about the Stellaron, told us that the Sweet Dream is a lie, and the family's using the Stellaron to fuel it and getting people like sucked into it, and that they're taking advantage of people's desires to escape reality and then using that so they eventually just fade into the dream and feed the Stellaron and that kind of stuff. And everybody's like, oh, we got to stop this. And Robin and Sunday was part of that group. Welt decided to go with them to meet the Dream Master because Sunday wanted to confront the Dream Master, who's the one who's supposedly using the Stellaron, to see what's going on, and to see if they can come to an agreement. It's like, hey, maybe we should stop doing this. Now Welt goes with them, 1, to give them backup in case something goes wrong, but 2, because he's like a little bit unsure of Sunday, and that theme will continue in this scene. He's a little bit unsure of Sunday, and he's also not quite sure what the Dream Master can do. Like, we've seen the Dream Master like possess people, particularly people of the Oak family. So Welt's like, all right, I'm gonna keep an eye on them and just make sure everything goes okay. And then we did some other stuff, but now we're back to that scene. Now we are with Sunday and Robin. They are in the golden hour with Welt, and they are going to meet the Dream Master. And this is a wild scene. So the whole time of this scene, essentially they talk with Welt a little bit, and then they go down the boardwalk because the Dream Master hasn't arrived, and they talk with people in the city. There's actually a Sunday flashback right before this, and it ends with a flashback of an even shorter flashback for Sunday. And so the whole like premise of this longer scene is what's going on with Sunday. right? We know he cares about his sister. We know he wants her protection and everything above all else. But is he really on our side? Does he really think this sweet dream is bad? Does he think the Dream Master is making a bad choice? Where is he with this? Because for all we can see, he seems like the family's man, right? Like he's one of theirs. Now we know the family's not good guys, or at least at least some of the higher ups are. We don't know who's in on this, who's not. We do know the highest higher up is, but we know he's pretty close to the Dream Master, Mr. Gopherwood. So, where is Sunday on this? Has he known about the Stellaron the whole time? Is he okay with this? Has he been remember he's been here. Robin left. Robin left to go be an international or an intergalactic pop star. Sunday had to stay here. He's been here the whole time. He might know about this stuff. He might be in on it. He might think it's a great idea. And now that he's got his sister back, does he care anymore? He knows she's safe. So the whole scene is what's going on with Sunday? Where is he? Where does his allegiance lie? And the whole scene is like drawing a line where you think, all right, we're here. And then slowly, oh no, we're over here. Oh no, we're over here. So the way this starts out is there is a flashback. Sunday's having another dream flashback. Last one was the bird. Remember the bird, and it was Robin and Sunday and Mr. Gopherwood and the bird, and they were trying to figure out what to do with this injured bird. They wanted it to be free in the wild because it's a wild bird, but it is a fledgling that had fell out of the nest. It needed help, so they were like, well, we need to take care of it. And it's like, well, do we keep it caged up forever, or do we let it be free, or do we find somewhere in between? And Mr. Gopherwood was like, ooh, this is fun. And he was kind of being sinister and creepy about it. So that was the last. That was my beep, if you heard that. That was the last we'd seen the flashback. Well, now Sunday's having another one. He's grown up now, and it's Sunday's confessional. He's literally sitting on the one side of the crossed, like the big mesh board, and he's listening to people confess their sins. And I'm like, okay, I thought there was some church themes going on, but they're really just going for it. Okay. Okay, I guess the harmony, I guess the family is literally just church. I don't know. When you're playing anime games and then like the nuns show up and it's like she's a nun, but she's hot and she fights demons, and you're like, yeah, all right. It's I don't know. Will we get a hot nun fighting demons by the end of Penacony? I wouldn't put it past him. I've played Honkai. I've seen Aponia. I've seen her boob vest that doesn't make sense as any sort of clothing. I've seen it. But anyway, so he's taking confession, and he's taking confession for some people, and you get like there's like 3 people that come by and give him confession. One's maybe a little bit too worried about his sins. One's kind of actually done some really bad stuff, and then one guy is just like blowing it off and like, what do you don't play with me. You don't deserve to judge me. I know your deep secrets. And so you see the full gamut, and Sunday's just having to sit there and deal with this. It seems like a lot to kind of deal with, but he's trying to be a promoter of the harmony and letting the people know the harmony's there for him, and they just need to be together and everything's gonna be fine, because that's the principles of the harmony. They even draw out a very specific one where the strong defend the weak, and that's how the harmony works. People are all together, they lift each other up, and they get through the struggles of life. But by the end of this, and that comes up again before the end of the scene. But by the end of this, Sunday gets done with that, and then he has like a crisis of faith, and he's like, "Yo, the strong aren't helping the weak. The weak are in their desperation are doing all sorts of things that aren't great. Like nobody's doing anything good. Everything's terrible. You know what happens when someone, and what do you do with somebody is losing the faith, and it, he's doing like this prayer to Shipe, the harmony. And you could tell he's just having a crisis of faith. Then he wakes up, comes out of the flashback. This is presumably what he's been dealing with before he became Oak Family Head. I think they pointed that out. But since Robin's gone, I get the feeling that Robin was like his anchor. Like she's the strong one. She's the one that keep him on the right track. And in order to pursue their dreams, she goes off to be an intergalactic superstar and sing for the harmony and stuff. But that leaves him there, and he always has these darker thoughts. Like his answer to the bird thing was, "Birds can fly." It's not that birds can fly; it's that people just think they can fly because they don't see all the ones that crash in the ground and die. And you're like, "What the fuck, Sunday?" Right? Like he's always had this darker tone, and so now Robin's been gone forever. Now he's dealing with this heavy stuff. Then he has this crisis of faith. You're starting to really get worried about Sunday here. Like, remember, this whole thing is, where is Sunday? So you're worried about him, and like, man, I really don't think he's been doing well since Robin left. Right? She seems to be the super hopeful one. She seems to be the one that's all about the harmony and believing in it, and it's like, really, these are the principles that can help people, and that's what we believe, and that's what she sings for. Her voice is done through the power of the harmony, right? There's like some sort of magic to her voice that comes from the space god Eon, the harmony. So, right, she's really attuned with it. And remember, she came back to Penacony and lost her voice because it's not harmonious. Like something here isn't right. People aren't following the harmony. And she figured it had to be somebody way high up in order to disturb it like that. Well, now it seems like it's the Dream Master, right? But where does Sunday stand, right? So here we are. He snaps back to reality, and he's talking with Sunday and Robin and Welt, and they're kind of talking about what they're gonna do, and and Welt's like, all right, well, I'll let me know when the Dream Master shows up, and Sunday and Robin are like, all right, let's just prepare, and then they run into they basically start going through people like NPCs, just random civilians, and they kind of all give their point on what the dream is like to them, and they're all pretty badly caught up. Like there's a drunk Pepeshi who's just given up on his life, sold everything he has just to live it up and forget all his troubles. There's like a party girl who says she's just bored and lonely all the time, and now she could be here and everything's always fun and frivolous. And there's like and then the saddest one is there's a guy who's dying. He like fought in a war and he's got real bad injuries. He's on like his deathbed, but they hooked him up to life support and let him be in the dream. He seemed to be the most grounded because he's like, yeah, I know it's a dream and I know it doesn't last, but at least I can do something here. And every time they meet one of these, right, this is compared to just what we got out of, which was the Dreamflux Reef, which was not a fake thing. It's still the dream, but nobody's trying to trap the people there. They all have a really strong sense of grounding and realism. And remember, Grace and the orphans and the other disabled kids, they were all being in the dream to help them kind of overcome their disabilities and their issues, but they all knew, like, this is just to help us when we get back to reality. Like, this isn't a place we should stay. This isn't, it's just a dream. It's not real. And the Dreamflux Reef itself isn't as candy and fun. Like, it's not so happy and whatnot, so that you can kind of remember, so you don't get tied to it too much. It's a cool place, but it's not like Vegas, right? It's not supposed to be. But the golden hour, that's prime Vegas #1, right? That's what the family's trying to push. So remember, they're trying, just in that last one where we found out that the Stellarons Family's using the Stellaron. I don't know if you can hear that plane, but apparently there's a plane going by. Family's using the Stellaron to keep people like trapped in the dream so they can give their life to the Stellaron. And so here we go. We've just met 3 people who are like very much not grounded, like not wanting to be in reality, just right there ready to give their life to the dream. And with each one, Robin and Sunday have a little conversation about it. And each one you get a little bit closer to where is Sunday? What is he thinking on this? And well, I'll just tell you, each one, Sunday's response gets a little more sinister. It doesn't seem to be fully in line with what maybe the Dream Master is trying to do, but it's certainly getting farther and farther away from our side. Or let's not even say that, because we're the good guys. We're here to stop Stellaron, whatever. Let's not even talk about our side. It gets farther and farther away from Robin's side. Robin's side is pure harmony, pure hope, pure like realism, and reality is important because that's what's real. People are meant to live the lives they're supposed to live, and try to achieve whatever potential they can, and not be held back, right? Not be in some sort of false prison, right? It goes back to the bird. She didn't want the bird to be in the cage, even if the bird couldn't fly very well, even if it wasn't going to live very long. She really didn't want it to be in the cage, because birds are meant to fly. Birds are meant to be free, right? That's her position. And as we go through, Sunday keeps, every time Sunday reveals something, you realize he is further and further away from that position. He is not believing people should be free. He's not believing people are like great and should be helped. He's not believing that everyone is deserving of the future, right? He doesn't think everyone is capable to fly or deserves to fly. Maybe it's only the strong ones that can fly. And it gets darker and darker and darker. And you kind of get the idea, once you get through it, you kind of get the idea that Sunday agreed to all this because he's got his sister back. And I think he's trying to take this opportunity to get his sister on his side. He's like, oh yeah, I can take all that hope and stuff, because that's how I used to think too, but now I'm over here. And I bet if I just, show her some reality, I can convince her to where I am. I think that's what his plan is. Again, you're trying to piece it together because he's not telling you. It's not stated directly. Maybe until the very end of the scene. So it's just getting more and more sinister, where he's talking about like survival of the fittest, and how the weak aren't defending. I mean, the strong aren't defending the weak. The strong are taking advantage of the weak. And he's like, and Robin's like, and you think that's wrong, right? He's like, yes, of course, I think that's wrong, and I think he does. But I don't think his solution is the harmony solution or Robin's solution, which is the strong should defend the weak. You start to get the idea that maybe his solution is, so the weak should be cordoned off and just over here and put wherever we could make use of them in a humane way. But really, it's about the strong. You're like, where are we? Sunday, this is not a good road to travel down, dude. This isn't right. Anyways, they do keep going. They do, after they meet those 3 people and you're just following along with Sunday, they eventually meet Robin. When you're like, wait, Robin? But it's the fake Robin. It's the Robin ? And Robin's like, is that me? And then, Sunday's like, all right, drop the facade. And it's Sparkle, of course. And Sparkle's like, oh, you got the real Robin back, so you're done with me now. And they're actually really mean to her, which they really should kind of be. She did help them out. I'm pretty sure she just did it to keep people around so that she could cause a big chaos during the festival, but she did help them. But they're well, Robin's not mean, but yeah, Sunday's mean to her, and Robin's just firm that you should not be here and not cause discord and stuff. So but she kind of lets on that she knows what's going on, and she might know where Sunday is, and Sunday gets a little mad because I think she has figured out that Sunday's trying to get Robin on his side, and she knows that Robin isn't going to be on his side. So she asks him, she's like, right before she leaves, she's like, just tell me one thing, Robin, do you think the dream is really helping people and could provide people the peace and happiness if they get stuck here, if they get trapped here? And we've just talked to 3 people who are kind of like thinking that the dream is fixing their problems, but really they're like halting their lives. They're just not dealing with their troubles. They're just running away from everything and just pretending that it's all okay by living in the dream. And of course, the answer that Robin is, of course, the actual answer, but also certain, but at least certainly, maybe I don't know, maybe you agree with Sunday. I don't, but at least the answer that Robin is on is no, they're hiding. It's fake. They're actually trapped in this dream and they don't realize it. They could be out dealing with their problems, moving forward in their lives, but instead they're here pretending that you don't have to move forward in your life. Life doesn't have problems as long as I just don't look at them, right? Right, sticking their heads in the sand. So right, it's kind of so Sparkle's last little act is to just like really drive that wedge because between Robin and Sunday, because Robin's still hopeful that Sunday is they're on the same page, but it's becoming clearer and clearer that they're not. And so Sparkle's just like hee hee, then runs off. Then that leaves Robin and Sunday to just have kind of a final little argument where they really point out that, well, here's my position, and Sunday's position is getting further and further away. And like I said, he really seems, we don't know what his plan is yet because they didn't reveal it. But he does seem to think his plan, he says things like, right, the dream shouldn't have to end. The problem isn't that people are running away from their lives. It's that their real lives are still there. And you get the idea that he's like, well, the solution is just to make the dream bigger. It almost feels like his solution is to erase reality permanently. Because then the people's dreams will be real, right? They're running from reality. It's causing them problems. He thinks, right, they're part of the weak. For whatever reason, they can't deal with reality. So this is actually a good solution for them. It's quite a humane place for us to cordon them off. And sure, but now we don't know. Does that also include, and sure, then we can use them to fuel the Stellaron because it's, a necessary evil to give a humane cordoning to the weak? Or is he not okay with Stellaron? We don't know that part yet. But it does sound like he's like, yes, the family's on the right path. Penacony's on the right path. You get the idea that whatever has happened at this Charmony Festival, he knows and he wants it to happen. And it seems like it's like the answer is to fix the problem, but not by waking people up, by like making it worse. And you're not quite sure what it is. But yeah, like I said, it sounds like his solution is just to erase reality. It's like, if I just make the dream bigger, right? Because what I got from all this is it feels like Sunday had that crisis of faith and he gave up hope. He said, the world is messed up. I want it to be perfect. It's not perfect. I can't make it perfect. I give up. I'm not going to try. I'm not going to do the little things that I can, right? This which would most likely be Robin's solution, strong, uplifting the weak, help the people you can, and trust that the harmony with everybody doing that and all over the place is going to work out. Sound like he's like, that's not working out. If I can't save the world, then it doesn't, it doesn't matter. So I'm gonna find another solution to save the world. Right now, this is not a path. This is not a good path to walk down. Anytime you feel like, oh, I can save the world, you really got to double check yourself, because there's a lot of there's a lot of bad things that have happened because people have thought they were saving the world, right? And Sunday's got that dark tint to what he's saying it, and you're like, oh no, I think he's gonna do something really bad and justify it by saving the world, right? Um, right. These weak people, they're not strong enough for the future, so it'll be okay, right? And you're like, why are we divided? And then Robin calls him out on it, like right at the end. She's like, "What are you talking about? What you can't? Then that just you can't be like that. You can't think that only the strong people matter. That's not how it works. What happened to the strong defending the weak, like what the harmony says?" And he's like, "That's not how it works. It's about people's survival. And when faced with survival, the strong don't defend the weak. The weak don't even do the right thing. Nobody does the right thing. It's all pointless, and it doesn't work out." And Robin's like, "Well, if you don't believe that, then you're not following the harmony. Then what? Who are you following?" And it like calls into question, because that was the thing on Belobog, right? They were supposed to follow the preservation, but the leadership had given up on the preservation. She's like, she had decided that Cocolia had decided that the preservation would ultimately fail, right? Because their little city was getting smaller every year. Decided they had ultimately failed. Started listening to the Stellaron, and decided that, well, if destruction's inevitable, then the sooner we bring destruction, the sooner we can rebuild. And so she abandoned the preservation and embrace the destruction and try to destroy everything. In this false sense of saving Belobog, right? Here we are again. So that is a really relevant question. If the family has abandoned the harmony, who are they following? What are they doing? And it makes me wonder, he's talking about a pointless struggle. We have Acheron here, who is tied to the Nihility. We're not sure why she came here. Why would the Nihility, somebody who's tied to the Nihility, be interested in this place? She's kind of hinted that the Nihility has its gaze here. Did they give up and start following the Nihility? Do they somehow think this pointlessness is going to save them? Seems silly. It's a Stellaron corruption. Maybe it's just the simple answer is everybody who's dealing with a Stellaron eventually gets corrupted towards destruction, because that's the Stellaron's goal. So I don't know. But it really makes you like, what is going on? And of course the scene, it does another flashback. It doesn't answer any questions. He doesn't really say what Iani's fallen or anything. He thinks in his mind of another flashback where it was him and Kid Robin, you know, trying to think about their dreams of the future. And Robin's like, I want to be a chord master so I can summon Dominicus Harmonious and everybody will hear the beautiful song of the harmony. And Sunday was like, yeah, I want that too. And Robin's like, don't you have any desires of your own? And he's like, well, I just want perfect paradise where everyone's happy. So you get your wish. You're like, Sunday, what the fuck? Again, I feel like Robin was the strong one. He was not. She left. And right, he fell into despair. He fell into hopelessness. He made the unwise choice of giving up because she was gone, right? So here's this. To me, this is just another example of him being the weak one. He didn't have a dream. He just used his sisters. But again, they talked about the chord master thing, and it was like, well, let's help you become a chord master. First, you'll need to become a star, and it faded to his adult voice at the same time. And I think he was the one that pushed her into being an intergalactic pop star. And I'm starting to wonder if that wasn't just part of this plan he has. So she could be a pop star, she could be a chord master, and then make this Charmony Festival go the right way. And now this Charmony Festival isn't going to be this nice, happy festival of harmony and peace because these guys aren't following the harmony anymore. What is it going to be? And is he just going to use his sister to accomplish his dark goals? I mean, where does Sunday go from here? Does he meet the Dream Master and see the path he's on, and the Dream Master's like super evil, and he realizes I can't follow this path because I'll be just super evil like him? And we have a redemption arc, or is he just full on board and he's like, yeah, no, that's what we're doing, and does he do something as crazy as force his sister into this to make the evil plot happen? I don't know. I don't know where Sunday's gonna go. To me, he could go either way. He's definitely leaning on the evil side right now. So the question to me is just, is he gonna get a redemption story? Captain, this video's long and you haven't even covered the second scene. Okay, it's alright. The second scene isn't as deep. I also didn't think it'd take that long to talk about the first scene, I'm gonna be honest. But anyway, so it cuts there. That's all you get. That's, you don't know what's gonna happen. You didn't meet up with the Dream Master. Welt's still in the background, so hopefully he can fix whatever's about to go on. But we do kind of, the big reveal is Sunday's probably not on team good guy right now. So then it cuts back to the train gang and Gallagher, right? We shift perspective. We go back to Trailblaze's perspective. And Gallagher's like, oh, you're back. Did you figure out what you needed? And Himiko's like, sorta, kinda. We'll try to make this work, because remember, they're trying to figure out the empty dream bubble, the Watchmaker's legacy. Just quite noisy out today. But Gallagher's like, well, I'm done. that was my friend's last wish. It's the last thing I needed to do. I have officially served my duty to the Watchmaker. And so he's kind of just, I guess, moving on. I don't know. But he said he wasn't going to continue joining us. He's like, I tried to fix everything. It's in your guys' hand now. And then we decide, so it's Himiko, March, Firefly, and main character, the Trailblazer. Technically, we're all Trailblazers, but, you know, the Trailblazer. And Himiko's like, okay, well, they're going to do that negotiation, but that's not going to be enough. We need to come out on top. We need a bigger bargaining chip, right? And she's like, if only we could get to the Charmony Festival kind of early or first, or, you know, just get something. Because if we, I think she officially said, if we manage to threaten the Stellaron, they will make poor choices because they will be scared. Their whole everything depends on it. And we know a lot about Stellarons. So if we can kind of get there and disrupt some stuff, they'll start making mistakes and we should have an advantage. It's quite shrewd, right? She's quite sharp, right? Himiko's supposed to be pretty smart and pretty conniving, right? In like a good way. I don't know. Those seem to have negative connotations, but it's like, think of like a chess master or something. She's really smart. And then March is like, yo, I got an idea. I was gonna do this this Soul Glad festival audition thing, and everybody's like, what's that? And it's like, yeah, so right before the Charmony Festival, they have like a big game show where they all compete to see who gets to like be on stage with Robin during the festival. And you're like, what? And she's like, well, and I actually had tickets because I'm part of the Robin fan club, and I was gonna do this. I didn't realize everything was gonna go crazy, so I mean, I was just gonna do it anyway. And she's like, but the thing is, if we compete and we win, we get to go. We're officially part of like the staff. We get to go to the stage early because we're gonna be on stage and stuff. And everybody's like, that's a good idea. All right, so let's do that. And then if we win, we can get into position. We can get there before the festival. We can get there before the crowds, and we can try to figure out what's going on. So it's very similar to the Boot Hill and Don comedy hour. We now shift to Penaconian Idol, and it's the train gang competing in like it looks like Fall Guys, dude. It's like colors and lights and it's no. Oh, here, I guess, like, did I set this up? I didn't really plan a clip for today, but this should I did leave it here just in case. Right, look at this. It's it's nuts. So that's the kind of stuff that all right, that's just all I want to show you. Right, it's that loud, bombastic, big crazy thing that's going on, and we're gonna compete in it. And it's a funny scene because they really play it up. There's like all these reporters there. There's a big announcer that keeps talking about Soul Glad, and they're like, "So what are you guys gonna do?" And March is like, "Is he talking about us?" He's like, "Of course I'm talking about you." Tell the galaxy who you are. And they introduce, it's very funny. Like some of them are good on camera, and like Firefly is not at all. And you get the opportunity to say a lot of goofy lines about being the galactic baseballer and stuff. Ideen himself comes out and introduces the games to you and tells you what it's about, tells you there's 3 competitions you got to do, and if you make it to the end you get to challenge the the record holder. And they say it's the record holder is a guy with red, well, I don't say it's a guy actually, they say they have red hair and is very dramatic and very, when, and I'm like, are they talking about Argenti? I have a feeling they're talking about Argenti. I have a feeling, because it's like he's good at acting and he's good at fighting and he's very dramatic, and it's like, they're talking about Argenti. And they even had a reporter from the Beauty there. They had reporters from 3 paths: the Hunt, the Beauty, and the Elation, the Masked Fools. And so it's like, why were they random until the Beauty end? Like they're just trying to remind you of Argenti. But it was just a very fun. It's very fun. It's actually a map. Believe it or not, it's actually a map exploration section, because this game show, right? Penaconian Idol, Fall Guys, you know, a Penacony's Got Talent, whatever you want to think of it as. This game show is actually you go into the map, and as you go through the map, it's you're playing the games. So Ideen introduces himself and tells you where to go, and then it's like, all right, make a choice. Do you want to do the acting challenge or the fighting challenge? And then you get in the thing, and it just takes you to another piece of the map, and then you go through that piece of the map, right? And they do the thing. So it actually is. It's a really cool concept for a game map. Is that it's the game show. So I don't know. It's really fun. They decide that they're, because the whole thing is like, we don't have much time for the Charmony Festival. We got to make this work. Himiko suggests they split into 2 teams and says, we don't really know Firefly, you do, so you should team up with her, and then I'll team up with March, and then we'll try to beat this. And so Himiko and March essentially just disappear, and then you get to do the games with Firefly, which is fun because I think this counts as our second date. We had a really nice date, and now we've got like an active date. We were going to the games, we're going to the fair or something. So, but the whole time Firefly's like, we gotta hurry. Is that a helicopter? What? There's never any sound ever here. I guess it's late enough in the day. Whatever. And so we only made it through 2 of the games. There's 3. The third game is taking on the champion. It's either like Argenti or like Gwenhyphen or something, right? Like who else would be at the end of a game show that we know that has like red hair? Because Himiko has red hair, but she's with us, right? So they let you, the first challenge they do is they let you pick acting or combat. Acting, it's like drama or action, and the action one is you fight some battles, and the acting one is you do some dialogue trees. I picked the acting one because I thought it'd be fun and they'd have some funny dialogue. The long form playthrough that I'm using to gauge how much progress we're making chose the action one, so I actually got to watch what it's like if you pick the other one. It's just as goofy. There's all sorts of goofy dialogue with it, and it's hilarious and hammy. But yeah, ours was, it was, okay, you're going to Penacony to make your fortune come true, and when you get here it's all deserts and terrible. What do you say? And it gives you like a dialogue tree, and you're supposed to, you're supposed to pick the option that makes sense dramatically, and it's all just goofy options. I did pretty good. And then Firefly says her part, right? And then it's like, okay, and then you, young lady, say this. And he goes through this goofy story about how you're, it's just the desert, and then you're in despair, but then you cheer each other up, but then you invest in umbrellas. It's just a and make a fortune. It's just a goofy ass story. But I think the only one you can actually fail it too, because, well, not fail it, but you can pick the wrong option, and Firefly's like, I don't think that's the right option. I didn't realize it until we got to the body acting part, and it's like, all right, what action do you do to make someone laugh? And I was like, pat Firefly's head. And Firefly was like, "Do you really think that would make me laugh?" I was like, "Oh." We're like, "I guess not." So you do that, and then you have to mind control the lady at the end, the toughest judge, to convince that your performance is good, and you're like kind of run out of steam. And Firefly's like, just do the mind control thing. I'm like, why do all the cute girls keep making me mind control? I'm supposed to use the clocky powers for good. So I'm telling you, it really is the second date. That's what we did on the first date. And then I hit a button. There we go. And then so we fix that, and she loves her performance. We get through, and then the second one, you make it to the second one, and you pick Clocky or you pick Hanu. And the Clocky one was like time trial, and I was running out of time, and time trials freak me out anyways. So I was like, I guess I'll do the Hanu one. And the Hanu one was indeed just like a little Hanu adventure where you get to be Hanu and move around and like drop vases on bad guys and stuff. And they make an awkward comment because Firefly's like, "Are we both controlling the Hanu right now?" Because I guess you've like fused into the Hanu. One of those. It's like when you're riding. It's like when you're riding on the roller coaster and you got really tight seats. And I guess I'm really pushing this date analogy. But it's a fun little Hanu image. I don't know what happens if you do the clocky thing. I think people in chat told me that you have to fix a big clock or something. I have no idea because the long play I watched also picked the Hanu one. But it's actually pretty fun Hanu one. You get to meet probably a fake Hanu because Firefly can see him too, and there's like this goofy story about Hanu's taking on the bad guy, whatever, some generic Hanu story. You got to put a puzzle together, that kind of stuff. But by the end of it, you get to use the bazooka, and and they just keep like lining up enemies, and they give you big explosions so you can hit them all. And it was actually really fun to just blow everybody up. And even Firefly was like, "Oh, I like this part." You're like, I think Firefly is a thing for explosions and murdering people. It's like, yeah, it makes sense, I guess. So you do all that, and she's like, "Did we really have to give up the bazooka?" And she's like, "You know what? Never mind. I'm supposed to be cute, right?" And that's but that's it. That's like as far as I go. Then people said if I go to the next one, it'll be a bunch of cutscenes and stuff. We were already running late, so we had to save the confrontation with the Elite One for the next time, which should be tomorrow. Lord willing, everything going well. Should see that tomorrow, and maybe we'll win. And maybe I'm kind of hoping that if we win, we finally get to see that the scene that's been teased ever since the Chapter 3 2.0 trailer, which you see like the Trailblazer dancing on stage with the cool hat and stuff. I remember in the presentation they were like, "Oh, check out the hat," and they keep releasing material. They keep releasing materials that they should have probably waited on, where you get to see Trailblazer in a hat, and you're like, "Is this where we finally get to see that cool dance?" I don't know. So I'm really looking forward to it. I was really wanting to get to the end of it to see if we got like a big stage dance scene, because I thought that'd be awesome. But I guess we'll have to wait for it tomorrow. So that's it. That's what we did. So we had like a big dramatic Robin and Sunday scene where you're kind of like digging into characters' motivations and seeing, just how deep does the corruption go? What is the true evil here? Oh, that's right. If they've abandoned the harmony, what eon are they following? Where does Sunday's allegiance lie? What's going on with him? What's going to happen there? And then a super fun, goofy Penaconian Idol Fall Guys craziness where just it's lights and colors and excitement and announcers trying to get you to buy Soul Glad. And I don't know how that finishes, so we're not done with the fun scene yet, and so I don't know what's gonna happen afterwards. But yeah, it's all coming to a head. Supposedly we're only like, I don't have it pulled up. We're only like 3 hours and 45 minutes into the 8:45 chunk of content that the long play I'm using to gauge the time is on. So I feel like everything's really starting to bubble up and come to a head, and we're just making, like, I can just really feel that rising action just keep rising. But apparently we're not even like halfway through, so Shoot, dude, I don't know what's gonna happen. Is it just gonna build like crazy, or are we gonna like climax and just have like a lot of resolution? I don't know. I don't know, but we're probably pretty close to the big, exciting Trailblazer moment that Hoyo's like essentially told us is gonna happen. So I'm excited to get there. But yeah, I'm just excited to keep playing it and see it. And I don't know, do I have anything else super relevant to say? It was a fun day. It was a fun day. We had a lot of fun with these two scenes. Thought it was cool. Loved the deep dive into Sunday. Really enjoyed this more than the Dan and Boot Hill Comedy Hour. It felt like it had more action and gameplay to it, so it worked out for me. And I'm excited to see the end of it. Maybe Argenti will appear and we'll get to do another duel with him, another glorious duel. So yeah. So the video is long enough. That's what we did. That was our recap for today. That was our 2.2-4 Captain's Log. I hope you enjoyed listening. I hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know what you think about the story or whatever. I guess you guys have already probably played it, so say whatever you want or don't. But I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. I hope things go good for you, and I will catch you in the next one. I'll see you around.